Alright everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel, reading stories, talking about Chassidus, all these types of things. Today is Tu B'Shvat, so happy Tu B'Shvat. You should be eating fruit, any amount of fruit is good to eat. And it's a good day to pray. It's a good day to pray for a beautiful esrog. And it's a good day to pray for anything. It's a holy day. But we're 30 days out now from Purim, and last week on Thursday we started reading Chassidic stories about Purim. So we're gonna continue today with his second video with more stories about Purim, and let's just get right into it. So we're reading from a sefer called Oitzer Hamayadim on Purim. In the back they have stories. The first story is a little bit long, but the other stories are kind of short, so that's good. So we have over here a story about Rabbi Yaakov David of Amshinov. He was a Rebbe in Poland, and he was known that besides being a very, very big tzaddik, he was also a big askan, and he was able to help the Yidden out with a lot of problems. Back then, I'm sure there was a lot of anti-Semitism, and there was a lot of people against the Jews, and there was probably always problems coming up, and the Rebbe was always solving these problems, as it seems from the story. So it happened one time. I already read the story like 8 times, so I could say it without looking, but we'll look into it a little bit if we need to. It happened one time, I think it was Erev Purim, that these shliachs came to the Rebbe and they said, listen, Rebbe, there's some businessmen in Warsaw, somebody plotted against them with a deal and this and that, and he scammed them or whatever it was, and now they're all in jail. And jail back then wasn't like a nice prison cell that was warm. I mean, prison and jail sucks, but you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a regular building. It was like they dug a pit in the ground and they put bars over it, and that's where you sat and suffered until you went to court. And they were like, Rebbe, you got to help these Yidden that are stuck. So the Rebbe said right away, yeah, let's go. He went outside. He told the wagon driver to prepare the wagons. And also in any Chassidic story, when the Rebbe tells the wagon driver to prepare the wagons, the Baal Shem Tov used to say that. Anybody, all these tzaddikim, you say that, prepare the wagons. You always know something's good is going to happen. It's going to be a fun story. It's going to be interesting. So this story there's not like, crazy flying around horses, but in the air and pizza sadarach, but it's always good when they say to prepare the wagon, something good is going to happen. Anyway, so the Rebbe went to Warsaw, probably with one of his Chassidim, a few of his Chassidim, and they got to an achsania, a hotel, whatever. Maybe it was Purim already, maybe it wasn't Purim, it was very close to Purim, the day, Erev Purim or whatever, and the Rebbe told this chassid, he said, you should run right away to the marketplace and find beautiful scarves of silk. Money's not an issue. Buy the most expensive, beautiful scarves of silk that you can find. The chassid said, okay. The Rebbe said, I have to go. Right? So this chassid went, he bought them, they came back to the Rebbe. The Rebbe said, okay, let's go back on the wagon. They went back on the wagon. They started driving around Warsaw. They went outside the city. So they got to this very, very big mansion. They were walking around in the fields next to the mansion. The Rebbe kept them turning to the house, and then he went back. And he waited a few minutes until the general of the highest level of the police, whoever was in charge of this prison, left the house. And this chassid understood that he didn't want to talk to the general. The Rebbe did not want to talk to the highest mifaked there. He wanted to talk to someone in his house to maybe, have rachmanis on these Yidden, whatever it was, right? So they left. This big general left the house. So the Rebbe said, now's our chance. So they went and they knocked on the door, and the servant guard, whatever, opened up, and he said yes. And the Rebbe said, we need to talk to the wife of the general right away with a very, very important matter. And obviously since the Rebbe was a chashuv person, so the guard, say, let me ask her, whatever. And a few minutes passed, and he came back. He said, okay, she'll see you now. So the Rebbe went in with this chassid, and the second that this lady saw the Rebbe, she was nispala ma'od, it says. She was nispala ma'od. She was very taken aback by his kedusha, by the shining face of the Rebbe, by the shining faces of tzaddikim. It's a big thing. And she gave him a lot of kavod. And the Rebbe spoke to her, I guess without this chassid hearing, and he said to her basically, he told her what he wanted to tell her, which was basically like, can you help these guys out that are in this prison cell in the pit? And he gave her these beautiful silk scarves, and they went right back to their achsanya, to their hotel, right? So afterwards, the Rebbe was telling to his milave with a shining face, like he was very excited. He's like, Hashem sent me this mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuyim, which is the mitzvah to redeem captives, and I hope that with Hashem's help, it's going to have atzlacha, and whatever I did is going to work. And the Rebbe explained what was going on. He said that the Rebbe, it was niskala to the Rebbe that he knows something about these people who were arrested and are in jail. He knows something about their case, that if they knew, when they go to court, they could, destroy the other guy who was scamming them. He knows how to tell these guys what to do. The problem is that he can't get to them, right? He can't get them. He knows something. He has some proof because he's a rebbe, or it was known to him from Shemayim, whatever it was, that he was able to explain to them how to fight their case in court and win. But he can't get to them. So what is he supposed to do? So he went to the general's wife, and he asked her if you have some rachmanis, and maybe you can let in two of the relatives of some of the people of this group of businessmen in Warsaw into the jail, just to see how they're doing, if they need anything, whatever. And I guess she was maskim, because the Rebbe told this chassid who happened to be a relative, this chassid that was with him happened to be a relative of one of the people that were in the jail, said, you and another guy are going to go and speak to them. And I'm like, okay, fine, like, what are we going to say? And then the Rebbe gave them a little cloth, a little thing rolled up, and he gave it to them, and he said, when you come to them and at the jail cell, give them a hug or kiss them, and you'll be able to pass over this little piece of cloth from your mouth to their mouth. We've seen it done in movies, we've seen it done in many stories and books, and this is like a move that people do in jails or whatever, but this is what the Rebbe is saying how to do it. So the Rebbe was telling them, he said, he gave them a pisas klaf ketana led nirsham besafik tsar v'derech remiza hayediya hachshuva. Like, it was written very short exactly what they needed to know. And he said to them, before you go into this miftzar pnima, into this guarded castle thing, whatever it was, where they were being held, one of you should put the pieces of cloth inside your mouth, and when you meet these people that are in this jail, hug them, kiss them, and use that time to push the cloth into the mouth of one of them. And then they'll figure out, obviously, that there's something on the cloth. And also, the Rebbe was able to work out with this general's wife that he could bring into them, they could also bring into them a kosher Megillah, and he also told the shluchim to put inside the Megillah, hide it inside the wrapped Megillah, a bottle of yain saraf, a bottle of whiskey, so that they should drink it and feel a little bit of simchas Purim. And the shulchan went, and they were meiser nefesh to be mekayim the divrei haRebbe, and they were matzliach with everything. The story is not really so much about Purim, more about the askanas of the Rebbe, but the Rebbe knew how important it was for the Yid to hear Megillah, and how Yid to have a little bit of shtia, a little bit of booze on Purim to feel simchas Purim. That's the first story. Another story over here. Okay, second story, guys. So it says there was two times a year where the face of the Rav HaKadosh, Rav Mordechai Doiv of Hornsteipel, who was a grandson of the Divrei Chaim of Sanz, right? Ki enoi sharoi. Says you were able to see twice a year. You were able to see that the Rebbe was in like a different place. Like he was not in this world. He could see it 2 times a year. And what were those times? Purim and during the Yom Noraim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, right? It says that on Purim, the Rebbe of Hornsteipel would drink tons of mashke charif. It means whiskey, booze, whatever, spirit mamish, in large amounts. Davar she'en kol bria yichoyel lamed. He would drink so much whiskey. He said that he drank so much whiskey. This is not like a normal amount that any other human being could ever drink in the world. And not only that, whatever he drank more and more and more, so he would be able to even speak more and more Torah. He would be just revealing secrets and saying Torahs and everything like that, no matter how much he drank. And he would just be mechadish chidushim, and his mind was like clear, even though he was drinking so much whiskey and everything like that. But it was such a holy place, so it was great things. And just it adds on over here that on Rosh Hashanah, because we said before that he wasn't, in this world, he was like, doing big things. So it says over there that on Rosh Hashanah, the Rebbe would stand for 2 days straight. Right? He wouldn't sleep at all, 2 days, 2 nights straight, just to be in prayer the whole time and doing Avodah Hashem, and you wouldn't be able to see any sign of tiredness on him. So that's very cool about Purim. That the Rebbe would just drink a lot and you'd be able to be clear-minded and saying Torahs and secrets. Because when you do holy drinking, that's what happens. Third story. The Rav HaKadosh of Avram of Sakachav, the Avnei Nezer. He used to say over a story on Purim about a man who they used to call him the Krakover drunk. Hashoisil Ashikra Mikraka. Okay, we're just going to call him the Krakover drunk, because that's what's good. He would start drinking 2 weeks before Purim, on Purim, and then also 2 weeks after Purim. Right? Sounds like a good story already. Right? And when they would ask him this about his strange minhag to drink for a whole month straight, he would say, listen, he's like, for real, right? Like Haman wanted to kill all the Jews, right? But only in one day. Right? You think he thought for himself that it's going to be one day is going to be enough to kill all the Jews, right? Because Mistama, when the Jews were going to hear about this gezerah that he was going to kill them, right? They would go and they would hide themselves in pits and caves. They would hide themselves wherever they could, right? And he wouldn't find them. You really should have to give a longer time to find them, right? You need to find everybody. Not everybody's just going to be chilling in their house when they already knew that Haman was going to come kill them. Right? Right? He needs the whole entire full month of Adar, right? But so really he needs. So he's basically saying that Haman knew that he needed more than 1 day, because these guys are going to be running away. He really needed a whole month, the whole entire month of Adar, right? But this, he says, Ella, rather, that this we see, mamish the rishus of Haman, right? Because he thought in his head that if he's not matzliach with his plan to kill everyone in 1 day, and if the Jews are going to win, so then what's going to happen? If he gives them a full month, right, that he's going to set aside a whole month, that every day is going to be a day that we're going to kill Jews, and if it doesn't work, so now the Jews are going to celebrate for a full month, right? Right, but Haman Rasha did not want that. He didn't want the Jews to be, happy for a full month. So therefore, he only wanted to give 1 day, and that's it, right? So therefore, I dafka drink Chodesh Shalom kidei lahafres machshavos shel Haman Rasha. I drink the full month to destroy the machshava of Haman Rasha. I'm trying to. I think what he's saying like this. He's saying that Haman really should have given a warning that, like he said, okay, we're gonna have this day that everybody's gonna die on this day, right? That was what the poor was, that was what the Purim. So what's it called? But this guy is saying that Haman, that he didn't have time to kill them all, right? He really needed a full month, but he didn't want to give them a full month. Why? Because if you gave them a full month, like that, it's going to be these days that we're going to kill the Jews. So now, if he loses, right? If he loses, then we're going to have, then the Jews are going to have Simcha the full month, right? So therefore, he only didn't want to do it one day. Why one day? Okay, fine. So if he doesn't kill all the Jews in one day, okay, fine. So they're only going to celebrate one day, but he can't have them celebrate one full month. So this Pasha Yid, so no, I'm drinking for the full month because I want to have that Havmina that Haman had in his head, and we want to Dunsky Haman. We want to get rid of Haman. We want to think that I'm going to celebrate for a full month that Haman lost completely, like, because the whole point of Purim also is to be making fun of Haman, to be mivazeh him and everything like that. So that's a cute little story too. I think, if I understood it correctly, I hope we did. It says, I drink a full month, right? That's the story. That's it. I'm just trying to make sure. Right. That's the story. Okay, fine. The last story for today, I hope everyone's still following, is in one of the years, Purim fell out on Erev Shabbos, like this year. It's going to fall on Erev Shabbos. Erev Shabbos Purim is called Purim Meshulash. When it's Purim in Eretz Yisrael, at least Purim is in Yerushalayim on Sunday, and Purim outside Yerushalayim and other places is on Friday. So Purim, it's very wild when it's like that because it's Erev Shabbos, Anyway, Purim, Shechal Erev Shabbos. The Baal Kedushas Yontif of Siget, he drank a lot of wine, and he was very drunk. V'nispasim, he was drunk. Ad lo yada, he was sitting on his chair, right? And he was just, it was a very mystical, cool appearance that he had. So all the Chassidim were standing around him. Nivhalu ma'oi, they were very nivhalu. They, from seeing him in Kiddush and Tara and his drunkenness. But also they're very scared and also very nivhal because in a very, very short amount of time was Shabbos. And the Rebbe is just sitting there, like, very quietly and, like, knocked out and, doing major hasagas because he's drunk and all these things, right? Like, what are we going to do, But right away, when it came very close to Shabbos, the Baal Kedushas Yontif stood up and he banged on the table and he screamed out, Shabbos. And right away, he got up and he ran to the mikveh and he went down and he came back up and he dried off. And even though that he needed to go down to the bar at least 20 steps, he went down by himself. He was being like fast, even though he's old. He was just going levels and levels, and he was being very holy. He says, and they asked him, like, how could it be that you were just like so drunk before? Now how are you so like right back to normal? So he said, the word Bereshis also, if you mix up the letters, it's Yorei Shabbos, the fear of Shabbos. The Kivan Shabbos Kodesh Nichnas is Hari Sheyayin Kasha Pachad Mefigoy. Amos Kedushas Shabbos Mefigoy Seyayin. Shekodesh Nichnas Hari Sheyayin Kasha Pachad Mefigoy. As he's in that Shabbos, the wine got scared of Shabbos. Shabbos is such a kedusha that the wine that he was drinking the whole day was scared, and it left his body, and he was able to be back to normal. So hopefully it'll be zeicha that we should drink a lot this year, Erev Shabbos Purim, and also have enough fear of Shabbos, so I'll be able to, have a little bit of function on Shabbos like the Kedushas Yontif did. Those are the stories of Purim. I hope I chose some good ones today. Next week we'll be back with some more on Thursday, up until Purim, and then we'll do Pesach, and we'll do everything. We'll just keep going. And I hope everybody's watching and sharing, whatever it is. Thank you very much.